Welcome back. You're tuned into Rise with India. It is that time of the show where we get you our Rise with India champion, and this time we have a very special guest. Well, in a world that tantalizes our taste buds with culinary wonders, there are few names that stand out. Among those culinary wonders is Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, our RWI champion for the week. In a humble household in Ambala, Sanjeev Kapoor's fascination with flavors and textures sparked a deep-rooted passion for cooking, leading him to enroll in the prestigious Institute of Hotel Management in New Delhi. Kapoor's breakthrough moment came when he was chosen to host the immensely popular cooking show Khana Khazana, which is also the longest-running cookery show in Asia. Beyond the television screen, Sanjeev Kapoor's entrepreneurial spirit took flight. He established his own production company, Turmeric Vision Private Limited, which gave birth to an array of successful cooking shows. Post which, he founded Food Food, an Indian food and lifestyle channel that was launched in January 2011. Sanjeev Kapoor's entrepreneurial journey didn't stop at television. Kapoor launched his own line of cookware, Wonder Chef, which quickly became a household name, catering to needs of both professional and home chefs. Additionally, he established a chain of fine dining establishments spanning all across the globe, each offering a symphony of flavors crafted by the maestro himself. He's also authored 200+ best-selling cookbooks available in 7 different languages. But above all, Sanjeev Kapoor was awarded the prestigious Padma Shri in 2017 by the President of India. Hello, Chef Sanjeev Kapoor. Welcome to Rise with India. Chef, you truly embody the spirit of Rise with India because you're not just someone who's put India on the global map, but also in India, you're a household name in every generation. I remember watching you as a kid with my mother. My mother knows you. My grandmother knows you. So tell us, also, you are one of the 7 chefs who has a case study in Harvard Business School. I mean, it's phenomenal what you've achieved. But tell us, how did a boy from Ambala, whose father was a banker, brother is a brand strategist, become a chef? Because back in the days, it wasn't the most glamorous profession to be in.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here. Actually, boy from Ambala was just because I was born there. It's nothing to do with that, okay. My dad was working there, so I was born there. But Mumbai is one city where I have lived maximum. Actually, not many people know this, but most people think, well, I live in Delhi. And actually, I don't correct them. I don't say anything. Before Mumbai, I used to live in New Zealand. So, but that's another story. How did I get into this field? A family of finance people. My brother, though strategy consultant, but is a chartered accountant. My decision was made very early in life, where I wanted to do something which was different. And that different could be anything. It was not something that I would say that, oh, I have to get into food, cooking was my hobby. Actually, it wasn't. My brother's hobby was cooking, but he became a chartered accountant. I was very clear, I will not do what everyone else was doing. So at that time, I was looking for something which was very different. And being a chef was really very different. Yes. So I say, yeah, this fits the bill. This is something that nobody in our family, neighborhood, friends has gone into this. So I should try this. And that's exactly what I did.
Absolutely, you're right on that one. But did your parents oppose this? Were there any challenges there?
Actually,
for a boy of the house to become a chef?
Actually, no. Because by that time, when I had to take this decision, by that time, they were used to me taking these kind of calls. Right. So whether it was choice of subjects in school or things that I would do, so they were used to this, that he loves to stand out.
Right.
Right. Mr. Kapoor, since you've already given a start to my question also, but then how good as a chef you are, but the real joy is not to cook for yourself. It's the joy is to cook for others. And you rightly said, you have been household name, and from that era where there was a lot of gender biasness towards female chef, any single instance which you can recall or a good memory, it could be a criticism or maybe a encouragement.
Right. So actually, this thing about male, female, gender bias, actually there has been no gender bias, I would say. It is, I think it's a made up thing, yeah, it's actually, if you look at it, let me clear it once for all. Women are better cook. That's it. There's no discussion.
But there are more male chefs than women. How is that?
They are stupid. No, the reason is in profession you would see more men. More men. And the reason for that is because more men, they are willing to take this hard work with low compensation for a long period of time. Women are smarter.
So women want instant gratification and men.
No, I'm not kidding. I know so many. So my wife's sister, she was a chef, right? And that's how I met my wife. But she worked for a few years, and then she joined a bank, and she was very happy. So I don't think it's anything to do with any gender. But if I were to pick and choose, if I were to say this, I would say that women would make, intuitively they would make better chefs. But since men spend most time in profession, then they reach the top, that's it. So it's otherwise gadhe wala kaam hai. It's a but in your question, how good a chef am I? I think that's a question that was asked or was answered many years ago when in my profession I was awarded the youngest chefs of this country. I was awarded as #1. I was not even 28 years old. So actually my journey on TV and other things started because I achieved my, in some sense, professional peak very early in my life. If at 28, you're the best chef in this country, if you're awarded that, what else after that? That worried
There was one element that you could connect with audience better, because if we see your old videos, now YouTube video, social media are on a rise, right? From last 7, 8, 10 years. But then the time, the era we're talking about you had that neck to understand what do consumer wants to hear, they want to listen to. And that's what the...
Fantastic. What do consumers want?
Yeah.
Now, this is something... So, actually at 28, I was awarded Best Executive Chef. And I said, oh my God, what do I do now? All my life, this is what I would do. That bothered me. So I had to do something else. So I actually, I thought, okay, now let me study more. So when I used to come to my hotel, I used to see an institute, it said Narsi Munji Institute of Management Studies. I went in and checked what are the courses. As somebody who was working, I could join masters in marketing management. So I joined that, and I was already studying the difference between sales and marketing, consumer, all of that, reading about positioning, and when this opportunity came, I realized that this show is not about how good a chef am I. Yeah. It was a show where a chef is teaching. Yeah. And if you are a teacher, then you have to understand who's the user, consumer, viewer in this case. So I was very, very clear that it's not about what I can cook. It is about what the viewer can cook. How can I enable them to cook better?
Yeah. And that show ran for 18 years, the longest running show. Yeah.
19 years, till I started our own TV channel, Food. But yeah, it was actually, it wasn't difficult. I could see it, and I used to tell everyone, I said, this is not a show where you have to show off and say, this is what I can do. Sure. It's not a competition that way. It is when people see you, they should be able to replicate. And if you show things that they fail with, it's your failure. So I only showed things that they would succeed with.
Yeah, and you taught them in a way that they always want to do it the way Sanjeev Kapoor does it.
That is. So, see, you also have to understand, before this, wherever I worked. So when I became a chef, one of the problems that I faced was that other chefs were, or master cooks, they were not really willing to share their knowledge or skills with you. So they would keep it close to their heart, and there would be secrets and things like that. And that bothered me. So my first year, I made a promise to myself that whatever I would learn, I would teach that as quickly as possible. I would not keep things with me. That helped me to learn more. Yeah. Plus, what I did, no matter where I worked, I always was teaching. I was always teaching. So before TV started, all my jobs, in a restaurant, hotel, whichever, I was always teaching. Sometimes my juniors, sometimes people outside. So for example, I was in New Zealand, and the restaurant that we had, so Saturdays and Sundays lunch was closed. But I was teaching. I used to take classes. We used to charge money. So I was good teacher.
But chef, tell us, you wear many hats, not just chef, of a teacher, of a chef, but you are a very strong, have a very strong entrepreneurial game as well. In fact, you pivoted much before, things started happening. Right from owning a TV channel, Food, you have a cooking range with Wonder Chef. When did you get started with that, and how did you spot these market gaps? Because it was fairly early on,
See, I think when you are a chef, so it's something that chef it's a profession. It's not a hobby, right? And when it is a profession, you are responsible for money, cost, everything. So one thing I realized that no matter who you work for, if you work as if it's your own business, then the results would be better. Business will do better. And I had seen that benefit. So in a restaurant, within first 3 months, because I was working, I started, let's say, cooking classes, making more money. So owner said, okay, I'll give you more, what can you do, and things like that. So I was getting used to that very early in my career. So it was intuitive for me to look at life beyond what most people would see. So when I started to do TV, I realized much before brand integration and things like that, that, okay, if I'm showing something, it's a product, and there is an impact that viewers are having, because people would ask, oh, do you have, where can I get that mixer from? And I was using some mixer. Those are not the days of brand integration. You would see all of nothing of that sort. So I understood, oh, this is an opportunity. I would go for some live show. People say, do you have your books? I had not written any book, right? So consumer is always telling you what to do, and it's a, and if you have intelligent, analytic mind, it's actually fairly simple. Then you have to have the guts to do it.
But chef, tell us, does personality help you build your stronger moats and also monopoly in the business? Because what we're seeing now, a lot of influencers who are already social media influencers are now building their brands based on, of course, their influence. You did this years back, like you were a trailblazer of sorts. Does it help you build a moat or a monopoly of sorts? Because based on a personality, if you build a platform.
See, I think everything goes hand in hand. Sometimes you do things, but you have to have a strategy. You cannot just say that it'll happen, the chance. You need to set your goals. You need to follow a path that you're taking. You need to have a strategy. You just can't say that things will fall into place and look back and say, oh, because I did, it doesn't work like that. It's easy to say, but it's more difficult than that. So, for example, I realized that there are things that you do which would add to your brand, and there are things that you will be seen as taking away from your brand.
Like what?
Like what? Okay. So when you did a show, it's not that you do show free, right? So show when you did, it is adding to your brand. It's creating reach through a mass medium. You're getting paid. But nobody says that you're getting paid because you are showing, because you are a teacher. When I did a show, cooking, you're a teacher. Teacher gets paid but has that respect. So it's adding to your brand value. You wrote a book, you become an author, right? Again, you are getting, we were selling millions of copies a month. We used to laugh and we will say 1 million copies.
Were you not competing with Arundhati Roy during that time?
I used to beat her.
Okay. God of Small Things. That was a
Word of Small Things, same
yeah.
time. So weekly there used to be, so I still remember Kapoor comes up with another topper, week on week. The brilliant, and it's such a high, right? Only thing is that I think books have changed, but now video views we do, right? So I started my own website, sanjeevkapoor.com, way before many people, internet boom. Ours was one of the hottest sites. So I still remember that somebody wanted to buy sanjeevkapoor.com. I didn't know whether I'll be selling my right hand, right thumb. We finally ended up not selling it, not because we didn't want to, or it's just that .com boom just they crashed. I still remember Rashesh Shah was, he was in thick of it, and we used to discuss, and he had some people who wanted to buy that. But that's a different story. So mass reach, if I could create that, so internet, entered that, started doing a radio show, had regular columns in print medium, in magazines and in newspapers. So while people know that Khana Khazana, I was doing multiple things to reach to not just thousands, millions, every day, every week, and that matters.
So Mr. Sanjay, what we can understand is that you could anticipate a future trend, a possible future trend well ahead of time. Now tell us, what is the next future thing which is coming up? There is one term which is catching a lot of attention and fancy of people is a kitchen robot. Is that the future of home cooking looking like?
Okay, see, we have a product in Wonder Chef. We have Chef Magic. See, humans will always rule. Right, so it's not. So I was just reading on my way here, Mr. Narayan Murthy's comment that how artificial intelligence it will help, but it's not something that will it will not replace. So will our life, are there things that can take away some of our pain in cooking? Would they be invented? Yes, more and more and more of that will happen. Will there be convenience in kitchen? Definitely, that will definitely happen. Would the time of cooking, let's look at 10 minutes delivery, right? Quick commerce, it's a reality. 2 years ago also, if you said that, people said, what? It's like, now that 30 minutes promise of pizza looks like a joke, right? So these things are real. So same thing, would it become easy, would it become fast, convenient? Yes, it'll all happen. But I don't see at home role of a robot, no. So cooking for 1 or 2, cooking for 3 or 4, no. Cooking for mass in factories? Sure. Would robotic arms be cooking? Yes. Are there in India today? No, they are not. Sure. But do I see that? Yes, I do.
Finally, Chef, tell us what would be your advice to young entrepreneurs, because you've had a very long entrepreneurial journey as well, and also those kids who want to get into unconventional profession like you chose years back. What would be your advice to take that leap of faith?
I always say this: don't listen to anyone.
Okay.
Do what makes you happy. See, the thing about success is that if you sleep with something and you wake up with same excitement, that keeps you going. You don't need any advice because it gives you so much power. It's something that will never let you fail. So believe in yourself. If you have that calling, if you have that voice, if you have that belief, the chances are that you will succeed. Don't go by historic data. Create history.
Absolutely, Chef. You have indeed created history, and that's why you are our Rise with India champion. But thank you so much for taking the time out and coming to our studio.
In fact, Sanjeev Kapoor is not just a name and not just a household name. He's there. He's present in almost every kitchen.
With Wonder
not
Chef
just with
now.
recipes, not just with recipes, even with the products now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, lots of products actually in food, in cooking, in content. Everything.
Everywhere,
Why not?
yeah, everywhere.
We have glassware, we have spoons, we have nuts and seeds, frozen products. We have a
Products also
JV
you've come up with, right?
with Big Basket. We have
Big
joint
basket,
venture.
yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I think anyone and everyone can do it. It's not, you don't need to be a Sanjeev Kapoor. Don't be a Sanjeev Kapoor. Beat Sanjeev Kapoor every day.
That's the mantra. Beat Sanjeev Kapoor every day.
Every day.
Cook dishes which are actually taste like how Sanjeev Kapoor makes it.
Better than that.
All right, Chef. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.